everyone is talking a lot about generative AI. Seems there is something new with a lot of potential. Let's see how is possible to obtain all the benefits that the basic demos are saying that is capable to do it. But the main question will be, okay, it's new, it's cool, but it's real. We can do real things on production with this stuff. Let's see. One of the basic examples with generative AI is the classic one. Okay, we have a model, LLM model, large language model, like GPT. You have a communication channel, essentially an inbox, email, whatever channel that you prefer. You have a message, a body of text, and you can feed it to the model GPT to execute some basic actions. Classify, entity extraction, summarization, sentiment analysis. This can be done in other ways using AI methods that looks more traditional. You can train your model to do sentiment analysis and then deploy it and use it to do that same task that the GPT model can do. So what is new here? Well, the benefit of this is essentially how easy you can do sentiment analysis. You don't have to train almost nothing. You already have models based on LLM that can do that task. Summarization, the same thing. Forget about to train the model to do summarization because you already have models that is going to do that has been adjusted with fine-tune technique. And the same thing here. The main part is, okay, you have your orchestrator system or your logic that is going to ask to perform certain action over the message that you have received. You want to do classification, you can do it. You don't need to train nothing. You can do entity extraction, some relevant information that is on the text and convert it on a JSON automatically. You can do the model. So it's quite simple to do this task without all the work that we have to do in the past to do the same thing, the same process. Okay? And for that reason, these models are rising as a great option. This is another classic example. Okay, you have your customer channel. We have deployed on BTP a SAP application that essentially is receiving the body, is telling to the to the GPT model what to do. I want a summarization. I want you to classify whatever you want to do, and after that you can trigger many different events on FSM or VPA based on the result that you receive from the model. And that is quite useful under certain circumstances and quite easy to implement. Of course, there is a kind of adjustment because in the real world you are going to face many issues, many problems that a pretty demo is not going to support. So you have to be prepared and you have to understand all the techniques that can be applied in those cases. This is a simple architecture, okay? We have a simple model, Llama 2, that has been imported from Hugging Face. We have a spin-up on the AI core, the model, using a certain infrastructure that can support it. We have to remember that Llama 2 is quite heavy and requires an infra with around 32 gigabytes of RAM and also with VRAM of 16B RAM, so you need a good GPU, and yes, that means money. All the time that you have that infrastructure turned on, it is money, so you have to be sure that the users are going to use it properly and control the pricing because it can be tricky. And also we have a front end connected with the model and connected with a HANA database. So here the main question is, can I speak with HANA? Can I, with natural language, obtain information from the database? The second question is, how difficult is it? Well, yes, you can. First answer. The second one is, if you need a reliable product, you need to put effort to polish the different aspects that you have to cover, because one of the main things of the LLM models is not deterministic, okay? You can have the same input, but if you don't control the temperature of the model and other parameters, the output doesn't have to be the same all the time. Okay? So, we are going to see this in action. The funny thing to do at demo live with LLM models is that you can prepare the prompts, that's for sure, but let's see what happened, because I didn't want to apply any filter or any other technique to modularize, to model the behavior of the model in order to show that if you don't apply that filter and put it on a raw mode, the LLM, you can find many surprises during the execution. So, one more time. So,
something to add as well is that we, as showed earlier, we have more than 100 use cases already covered. But a few weeks ago, this wrote me and told me, "Do you want to be speaker again on SID Barcelona this year?" And we said, "Okay, yes, of course." And then we thought, what can we do? Can we pick up one of these already pre-built use cases we have, or shall we start from scratch? So Alvaro, he's also there. He's a relative new joiner, so he joined us back in September as a new graduate, so future startup for us. And we put him with others to start from scratch and building it from scratch, completely new. So this is not a POC we have already in a client. This is not a pre-built use case we have. So everything has been done in the last few weeks.
Yeah, by
him and a couple of colleagues as well. But all of them are treating it. For example, Alvaro is completely new even to SAP. So he doesn't have an SAP background. He's a graduate from university, industrial. So nothing related with SAP. And in a few weeks, we were able to build what you are going to see now.
Yeah, essentially, we are going to see how structured is the database, which are the tables, what information contains, and after that we are going to start making some basics queries. Okay, here, I don't know if you can see properly, we have a table called product, where appears product name, description, price, order header, okay, where we have the order IDs with the customer name that executed, and the order position. That's mainly because the first question is, okay, with a simple database, with a most simple agent on LangChain that we are using, what can we obtain? Okay, we are not doing any kind of prompting engineering behind. We are not forcing the model to convert manually the question to query. We are using an agent from LangChain. Essentially, an agent is an entity that is going to be connected with an LLM. It's going to be connected, in this case, with a database. You send to the agent a task, that in this case is obtain this information through this question, and in this case, that's all. There's nothing more like that. So based on that idea, how well can perform over a simple database. So let's take a look. For example, if we check the table, we are going to start with the basic question. There is, what's the most expensive product? Let's see what happened. And when I say let's see what happened, it's literally because I've been testing this a little bit, and not always the answer is what we expect. Not in the meaning that the answer is wrong because it's going to give me another quantity. It's about that can answer sometimes in other language, because we are not controlling the language that we are using it. I'm not coding specifically this to work on English, okay? But we are going to see some example. And there's other aspect on the agent. The agent feature on LangChain is a relatively new feature, so it's under beta, but we want to see how well performance. So we decided to use it. So this is the first answer. The most expensive product is the laptop at 1,200. So here on the table is right. Let's do another question. Give me a list of monitors available and their description. Don't worry if some of these queries fail, okay, it's fine. But we can see a little bit what is the behavior. Okay, I'll tell you that the monitors available are Dell, LG, MSI. So let's take a look. Here there is one monitor, and it's providing the description well. Not bad. Now, so we are going to do a little bit more complex query, because in this case it's going to involve several tables, because the next question is how well is doing the inner joins, this agent? Is able to execute it properly? So if I ask about how many products of the type monitor has Alice bought and what price, then we're involving the order header that has the customer name and the order position that has the product ID. So let's see what we can obtain. Let's see if it works or not. We can talk later if you want about the hallucinations, how control it, control the randomness of the answer. Okay. For example, in this case, it's saying that has gone up to 10 monitors at the following price and is giving me a name of a variable. Okay. In this case, something is not working fine. So the question that we can do is, what I'm doing wrong with my model? What happens if I execute again the same query? Is it going to offer me the same result? Well, in this case, we can see that, for example, the right question for this answer would be go to the Alice that places one single order, order ID 3, and the order ID 3, we see that orders the product 4, 5, 6 in one quantity, so I think that is wrong because I don't see 10 in any case, but it's important to understand more or less what is going on. We are going to do a simple another question, and then we are going to repeat the previous one to see if it's able to do it fine. Submit. We are going to increase we are going to alter the tables. Okay, we are not restricting the permissions, but it's something that, of course, that you have to implement. Okay, it says that the price of the product by 10% is telling you just only that, okay, the action has been executed. Now let's go to check it. Because I faced some examples where the prices didn't get properly updated. In this case, yes, we can see that from the previous one that a 10% has been applied. Of course, that we can check on the logs, but we can see that later if the behavior has been correct. Also, what if I ask exactly the same question that answered wrong previously? It's going to work fine now. It's going to be to repeat that same wrong response or not. Let's see. Well, this means that yes, this is a problem with the agent. It's not able to execute the task because it's not building properly the query, and then it's going to raise a timeout, I guess, at the moment, because there is a limit to control that the agent is not going to do a lot of queries. Nothing relevant. We can close this and execute it again. This is something that we have to face as a challenge, how to control all the aspects of the creativity of the LLM that cannot affect to your application in the real world. So let's see if we execute it again. Okay. And repeat the query. Okay, now we have as an answer. Alice has bought one monitor at price of 150. Exactly the same prompt as the other last time. And now it's seems that it's working. What's going on here? We are not controlling the model properly. We are not using the techniques of prompt engineer, of hallucination features to see where is the problem. But this is something that is a challenge, and you have to restrict the creativity of these LLM models many times. In the production or in real world applications, that is a very relevant point. In this case, as I said, we are not doing any control over the input that we are offering to the model. We are just executing the agent directly with the question, and that's all. That is something that you have to adapt, okay? Because right now the agents are in a beta features and are not going to work so well as we expect. Or create your own agent. Or even that, there is many possibilities, okay? You can create your chains of prompts and do it. There is a lot of different ways to do it. One thing that someone asked me yesterday was, is going to work in other languages? Well, the answer that I said is I don't know. I have not tested this. I have played with this only in Spanish and English, and works more or less fine, but I found some cases where, for example, in this case, I've asked it in Catalan, and the answer is more or less a proper Catalan. In Catalan is okay, the answer, because it's fine.
El producte més car disponible és un laptop Hana. Sí,
Okay, so
bastant més correcte que algun d'aquí.
What that means? Your demo is prepared to talk in Catalan or any other language? Well, the answer is the LLM model, have the model seen that language on his train? Because if the answer is yes, then probably the model is able to auto-detect the language and answer in that same language. If your model has been trained only in English language, they don't know about nothing other languages. But in the case of the foundational model like Llama 2, GPT-4, have been trained with a lot of data in many languages. So can works better in English, yes, because they have seen text in that language much more than in other language, but has a decent performance on other languages, yes. But that is something that you have to control, and it's one of the benefits, okay? If you're using a general model, very capable, you don't have to worry about the translations, because the model is going to be prepared, and this is a key point. And I don't know if someone has some questions, some points to comment.
How many lines of code for that?
In this case, 20, 30, let me check. The tricky point here is, well, I have
because it's incredible what kind of
100, but
things
in an
available.
effective way, 30, 50 lines
Let's
of
say
code.
you're using the GPT 3.5 turbo, right?
Well, no, this is the old version.
Okay.
Because
okay.
the problem to build your own instance in BTP is that you have to pay for the time that it's running. So for the basic testing, you use another LLM like ChatGPT to do the basic testing, and then when everything is working fine and the agent that, then you connect your costly Llama 2. But here the question is, and all this stuff is running under BTP? Yes, we are running the Llama 2 models on a core HANA database. That are the main parts. The front-end application is built on Cloud Foundry. Well, in this case, it's Radio. But that's our main question is, do I need AWS or other entity to do this kind of stuff? And the answer right now is no. You can do it by yourself on BTP. And that's a key point, because one of the main reasons to do that is that right now I can download on a core from Hugging Face repo, well, contain a lot of different models, very heavy, one of them. So you have to think that if you want to download the basic model of Llama 2 are around 12 gigabytes, more or less. And that process takes a little bit of time to download from a core to Hugging Face to connect and download the process. Of course, that for environments like production is more secure to take your model, move it to S3 bucket or some kind of object store to be sure that it's not going to be changed and all that stuff. So that would be the answer.
No. And for Anxo, what are the SAP industry that consume more that kind of technology nowadays?
In terms of industries.
In terms of business or industry, retail, automation,
Well,
health
we
sector.
have active projects within large energy companies. So, for example, one of the 4 biggest oil and petrol companies, we are already working with them around generative AI to generate code for them, etc. We are in a big retail company offering efficiency on their processes as well, applying generative AI. So I would say that maybe this is cross-industry at the moment, but yeah.
It's cross-industry.
It is cross-industry, yes. So I guess that as earlier, so probably all clients are now, they want to be there, they need to be there, even if they don't know why, but they need to be there. So we need to show them why and maybe try to find out that use case that will make them reduce their FTEs, times, efficiency, their processes, etc. But yeah, I would say it's cross-industry.
And some example of user case used in that energy or industry,
Yeah.
or one you can say it.
Yeah, as I said, so for example, the one I said about oil and petrol company, it's to generate code for them.
Generate code for
Exactly.
develop.
Generate code, so basically generation of development code.
To
One of the
avoid
challenges.
to avoid higher developers. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
At
so
the
it's-
end, that's an important point. One of the, for example, about that use case, ChatGPT or Copilot are good enough writing a code. Okay, of course, I'm not going to know nothing about custom enhancement, custom tables, all that stuff. Obviously, it's not going to be able to be generated. But we face the problem with the CDS. Okay, because when you ask to the model to create a CDS, it's not going to give you exactly the real name, the real files. Okay, and the client is questioning why the model doesn't work fine creating CDS. Well, the answer is that model never seen how is those CDS in the real life. The information of the CDS, the name, the structure is not available for the model, so the model doesn't know what solutions we can offer. Of course, that we can offer solutions without the need to retrain the model. That's an extremely expensive activity. Only a huge company can do it. But with the RG methods, we can extract the metadata of the CDS specifically for that client and give a context to the model. And then the model, knowing the name of the CDS, knowing the name of the fields, etc., can build the code properly. And that's one of the solutions. Okay?
I think that's one of the key parts also of the demo. So we didn't want to do a, let's say, a normal demo about telling exactly what you need, how to get that information, how to provide that information, and when to receive information treated. So it's just, as we said, so using natural language, I think it's important. So we can do the same for everything around. It's a matter of training the model, as Ignacio said. Yeah, and something that is also very useful for developers is that extended developer or augmented developer, that if you manage to deal with legislations, etc., IP, and so on, so you will have a much better or more efficient developers on your side. All the benefits probably around IA. But,
It's not to replace developers, it's not to help developers to do the work faster.
Yes, exactly. Always, when you receive any output of this kind of model, always, doesn't matter the kind of model that you are working on, doesn't matter if it's the cutting-edge model created by the best company, we always need someone to check the output. Okay? In the case of code generation, we need developers to check that the code that has been generated is aligned with the client request, is correctly in terms of security, in terms of performance, and that is something that a developer has to do, has to check all the code, ensure that the basic code proposed is correct, and if it's fine and you want to execute it, it's correct. But in many other cases, you are going to see just with your eyes, oh, this part has to be adapted, changed, this type does not exist, I have to adapt it, and that is the work for the developer, because it's essentially, if you most of the time if you copy the code generate it and put it, it's not going to work. It's going to fail. And only a developer can know where is the problem and how to fix it. Okay, this is a tool. It's not a replacement.
I will say that to my colleagues, developers. Any more questions?
Don't use it on ABAP ever.
No?
Never works on ABAP.
Do you have experience in ABAP?
Yes.
Try asking any procedure that follows 3-4 steps and they fail.
It's important to, there's several techniques to
So yeah, prompting.
to generate the code properly, create the prompt correctly, create by modules the code. Don't expect to write the program from end to end. Try to modularize the behavior. The next thing that is going to happen is the code generator specialized on languages. Okay, you are not going to have a ChatGPT that is able to generate code in many different languages. You are going to find a code generation specialized in write ABAP, in write Python. Okay, the ABAP problem is that it's not a language so many use it as the other one. You go to internet, there is not so many ABAP on the repo or code available for the rest. The main part of the ABAP code is on the client side, okay, and it's not available for those models. So the tricky for the languages that are not very used is to create models specialized that have seen a lot of code and are well prepared to write ABAP code in order to be usable. Okay.
Okay.
Another question? So just again to thank you to the team, Álvaro, Ignacio Rubio, Ignacio del Valle, and Fernando Ramirez as well, that were the builders of this team.
Very, very good job, Alvaro.
Thank you very much all.
Thank you, guys.